the show about how wrestling has evolved over the years, and it's a first of all, it's a sport that's populated by very skilled athletes. I mean, you simply don't jump off the top rope as you used to do and not be a skillful athlete. Who was the first wrestler who really brought the theater, the whole, help me, Sean, what am I looking for here? He was the guy that brought the show to wrestling. Some people might recognize the name we were talking about before.
I would say Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George.
Yes.
Yeah.
He brought wrestling, no, he used television for what it was.
Right.
A form of advertising. Mm-hmm. That's why the show was dull. No advertiser want to even put any commercials on. Why? Because nobody's watching it.
Right.
So you have to use it for what it is. A form of advertising. So there's a bunch of other shows on that attracts the people's attention. So you do that, people are watching, you have a big crowd, your ratings are skyrocketing into the air, mm-hmm. and the advertisers are standing in line to get in.
Right.
So that's the whole thing. Gorgeous George knew what it was for, mm-hmm. used it. He's an ordinary wrestler. George Wagner.
Right.
He dyed his hair, and the whole idea was his from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. And there was another guy too, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers.
Right, Buddy Rogers.
He's also very, very good in that direction.
Right.
So utilized for what it was, mm-hmm. and that's how it got started.
Beginning, yeah. Sean, want to add another trivia question, and we'll keep the ball rolling here.
You're talking about we'll throw out another trivia question. We were talking about selling out arenas. Well, what was the main event for the only wrestling show at Fenway Park which sold it out? Who were the two participants?
Wow, I don't.
Fenway Park.
Fenway.
That's a baseball game.
Right.
Yeah, well, they had a wrestling match there.
A wrestling match in Fenway Park?
Yeah, believe it or not.
Never heard of it.
Well, there were two guys, and what was the main event? And we're talking probably...
You know something, too? That was the first wrestling show I ever attended.
Late 60s, Greg?
I'd say probably around 60, 68, maybe 67.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it.
No, okay.
That's amazing.
Nobody invited you?
Wink, wink.
No,
Can you imagine that?
No.
Wink, wink.
Nobody told me about
What's
it.
this world coming
I
to?
must have been out of the country, maybe. Maybe I was, I don't know, someplace else.
We got a prize. Correct answer, 8 batting cage tokens at extra innings in Middleton.
Can I take a shot at that?
We'll put it on the board for a little while, Greg.
774.
Greg's got some inside knowledge here.
Right, he does. He's got an unfair advantage. 774-1040 is the phone number. 774-1040. If you want to check in, you want to say hi to Walter Killer Kowalski, Greg Dekoff, answer the trivia questions, get on board.
We also have the other half of the executioners is still out there.
And the other half
We know
of the
Mr. Kowalski was one half.
Right.
Who was the other half?
Okay.
Want me to tell you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe one of the few wrestlers that you looked up to in your career, Walter? Little, no pun intended.
Oh, really?
One of the few that you might have looked up to.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't Skylar Low.
And it was not Little Beaver. Greg, I'm glad you mentioned that because it's something interesting. I've always been fascinated by wrestling. Wrestling was one of the first sports that really allowed everybody to come. I mean, no one was held back. They had women wrestling. I remember the Fabulous Moolah for years and years, was the women's champ for years and years. As long as you were a skilled athlete, you could wrestle. Am I right?
Yes.
They had, I don't know if it's politically correct to refer to people as midgets, but small people. Minorities of all kinds. I mean, Bobo Brazil was one of my favorite wrestlers. S.D. Jones.
Yes.
We had people from South America. Pampero Firpo. Where was he from?
The Wild Bull of the Panthers?
Yeah, Wild Bull of the Panthers. Argentina. So, I mean...
Argentina.
It was the sport of the world.
Rocky, it was the sport of the world. There were no boundaries, no racial boundaries, no boundaries of gender or anything like that.
And almost every nationality could identify with everyone. The Italians, Bruno Sammartino, the Puerto Ricans, Pedro Morales.
Right.
There was always someone you could identify with.
Gee, I don't even know these names some of you guys are mentioning. Wow.
Pedro Morales.
They were long before you. So.
Long before you, yeah. Walter, who was your toughest opponent? You wrestled for 4 decades. You wrestled in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and in the 70s.
Yes.
Who was your toughest opponent?
Well, I had a few of them, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
And Buddy Rogers was very, very tough.
Right.
Luthez.
Right.
Bruno Sammartino. Don Leo Jonathan.
Right.
And so those are the ones that first bring to my mind. These guys are very good, very, very tough.
Yeah.
And they took care of themselves. Like some athletes today, they go on drugs,
Right.
they drink, get drunk and whatnot. In our day, we were what we represented to the people. Athletes. We took care of ourselves too.
Let's see what Alvin has to say. My producer's saying that he wants to talk to you, Killer. Alvin, welcome to the show.
Thank you. This probably goes back maybe 35 years ago, Killer Kowalski. It was in the city of Lynn, and it was over the Kennedy's clothing store for men, and you used to wrestle there, and you was wrestling Haystack Calhoun. Do you remember anything that happened in that bout with a spectator?
What was this?
Lynn. You were wrestling in Lynn, and you were wrestling against Haystack Calhoun. He's asking you, did something happen with a spectator? First of all, Alvin, I want to put that in perspective. Walter, how many bouts have you had in your career? Would you
Well, for over 30 years, about 300 a year.
Right.
So
10,000 bouts.
That's right.
So, Alvin, in fairness to Walter, you're asking him to pick out one incident among 10,000 bouts.
That's pretty hard.
It might be difficult to do.
That kind of puts Cal Ripken to shame, doesn't it?
Right.
Well, I didn't realize it would be that hard.
Well,
but he was choking Haystack in the corner, and one of the spectators, it was a little kid, and he came up and he did something to Killer Kowalski.
Oh, well, I'm sure that...
I already apologized to you for that.
Yeah, it might have been Greg. Alvin, you want to take a crack at the trivia question?
I have no idea of the trivia question because I just turned you on.
Okay.
Do you know who one of the executioners were besides Killer Kowalski?
No, I don't.
Okay.
All right, Alvin.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to point out, too, the difference between athletes of yesteryear and when Walter was wrestling. When Walter was wrestling, his matches would go 20 minutes,
Right.
40 minutes, 1 hour. They'd wrestle 2 out of 3, 4 matches. Yeah, you wrestled Wahoo McDaniel for well over an hour one time, and Wahoo later in his years when he wrestled Walter. In those days, these guys wrestled for an hour or better. The athletes nowadays, not to take anything away from because they're great athletes, and I still have a lot of respect for professional wrestlers now, but these guys get in, they only wrestle 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes.
Right.
Even when I was wrestling in the 80s, it was very unusual for us to go past 20.
Out. I jumped down in the ring, jump up and down, jump up and down, then started to punch the referee. People looking at me, this crazy Pollock in that ring. But that's the whole thing. I increased the speed, kept on going.
Yeah.
And I had a bodybuilder for tour California.
What was his name?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
So I'm going to wrestle him. I'm in the corner. All the Mexicans there were afraid of death of me. Oh my. And they were sitting on one side of the house when I'm in the corner there, hunched down, putting my shoes on. The bodybuilder walks in, great big muscle head, walks in, and he says, who am I wrestling? So the guy in the corner says, oh, give me a break, he says. So let me go in the ring first. So I walked out in the ring, people started booing me right away because they knew me. Then he walked out, people, yay, figure this guy's going to beat the heck out of me. Well, in 5 minutes, this guy's beating hard. After 10 minutes, he said, I quit, give him the match. What do you say, Walter? I said, baloney, give the people their money's worth, keep going.
Yeah.
Kept going. This guy crawls out on the mat, underneath the ropes, and throws up on the floor, throws up twice on the floor. People are swinging, oh my goodness. I dragged him by the ankles, pulled him right back in, pulled him up off the ground, pounded him, knocked him down again. Finally, the referee said, Walter, stop on the floor. He's turning blue. I said, holy mackerel, he's dying. I the match right then and there. That was it. All the other Mexicans, every time I stepped in the ring, everybody used to walk out of the living room to watch Killer Kowalski in that ring. Why? They used to see me do things in that ring they never saw before in their life.
Right.
Because I have imagination. I use my imagination to come up with different moves and different holds.
Right.
The guys came up to grabbed him, carried him back to the dressing room. So when I got back to the dressing room, he said, I don't know who you are. who you were, and you're going to remember me for the rest of your life.
Well, something that Walter was very well known for, too, when he was wrestling, he'd go into some of these towns, and there'd be only 30 or 40 people in attendance. Now, most wrestlers, they get into a small crowd like that, and then work hard. Walter would always go in, give the crowd their money's worth, would always raise the bar for the other wrestlers, because everybody else would have to work just as hard, and not look foolish.
And then when they bring me back to the same town, the house was up.
Right. Let's talk to, we've got an old familiar name on the line right now. She's a regular for our show. Let's talk to her right now. Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much.
How are you, dear?
I'm well better than I was. Hi, Killer Kowalski.
Hi, Cynthia.
My father was a pro wrestler. I found out something, I thought it was before I was born, but it was between 1935 and 1940. And he wrestled from Providence, Rhode Island up to Bangor, Maine. His name was Walter Driller Hawks. And he never lost a bout.
He never fought Killer.
No, but you want to know something? I'm looking at Killer, and he and my father could have been brothers.
Is that right?
Wow.
They have the same look about them, and big hands, and I only wish my dad were here to talk to you, Killer Kowalski.
Thank you.
And it's a really special sport. He learned it at Springfield College, and he then taught it at Reading High School. And like I say, I've been looking forward to watching this show tonight. And I think my father won $15 every bout and expenses paid. And as I say, they would put him up for the night if he was in Bangor, Maine. And I said to my mother, how come you didn't take me and have my picture taken in the ring with him? And she said, oh, in those days you didn't do things like that with a little girl. So welcome to Danvers.
Thank you very much,
you're on a very special sports show. I enjoy it very much.
Thank you.
One of our biggest fans.
Okay.
Thanks for
Talk to you
checking in,
later.
Cynthia.
Good night,
Yeah,
Thank
keep
you,
it up.
Cynthia.